So maybe you are asking yourself, what's he shooting at? Is he shooting through the chronograph? But I'm not. I'm shooting at the target back there. Okay. And today I'm using this Dryad riser Epic 17 with the Bosen Limbs on it, and these are supposed to be 50 pounds at 28 inches, but in a moment we are gonna run it through the table over here, and we are gonna shoot it through the chronograph at 10 grains per pound, and with my hunting arrows I was just shooting now, and then we are gonna see if these limbs are 50 pounds at 28 inches, and I don't think they are, because these limbs are not made for the Dryad, and I still have one turn or something before I'm at the bottom. Okay. On this bow I'm shooting the thread vanes. Okay, and to get away with that I need to have this bump on the shelf. I've talked about this one before, because when you have this bump like this, when your arrow are flexing around the riser, it's gonna go out here, and the lower feather is barely touching here, or else my arrows are gonna fly like this. So see, this bow is has a fast flight string on it, and at the end of this video we are gonna put this Dacron string on the bow to see what happens at 28 inches with the same arrows. Okay, so we can compare what happens with the Dacron string versus the fast flight string. Okay, so now we are gonna pull it to 28 inches to see what poundage we're talking about. Bosen Limbs on the Dryad riser. .8. I don't know if you can see this. .8. Okay, so now we're going to take the weight scale off. So even though these limbs are 50 pounds at 28 inches on a 17-inch riser, we need to consider that the limb bolts are not in the bottom yet, and I don't know which kind of riser these limbs are made for, but I guarantee they are not made for the Dryad. Okay, but this is the configuration I'm shooting it with now, so we're gonna let it stay like this at 48.8 pounds at 28 inches. Okay, so now we're gonna try to find an arrow which are 10 grains per pound, and then we're gonna shoot it through the chronograph, and then we are going to shoot the hunting arrow too. Okay, so on this bow I'm shooting the Black Eagle X Impact, and these are around 580 grain or something, actually 582. Okay, so for the 10 grain per pound arrow I have this axis, and it's 483 grain, and the poundage was 48.8, so it's roughly 10 grains per pound, maybe 9.9 or something, right? .483. right there. Okay, so I've been messing with some different field points to make it fit right. So now we just need to shoot those two through the chronograph. Okay, as you can see here, I'm using one of these release aids on this machine just to be sure I'm making the same release every time, and I can fix it on the right draw length. But some guy was asking me if I could use this to tune the bows, and I have to say you cannot tune a traditional bow with one of these, because the arrow on a traditional bow needs to go around the riser, and all that needs to match your release with your fingers. So it's a personal thing to release an arrow on a traditional bow. This is kind of a shooting. This is kind of an aid to use on a shooting machine. And yes, a compound bow is a shooting machine, just like this one. The only difference between a compound bow and this one is that this one I cannot stand in my hand with this one. I cannot lift this one as easy as I can with a compound bow. But a compound bow is roughly the same as this machine, and therefore you cannot tune your arrows on a traditional bow with a release aid like this. But if I was mounting a compound bow on this machine right here, I could actually tune the arrows completely perfect on this one for a compound bow. Okay, just to clarify. Okay, so finally we got some sunlight on the chronograph, and now we're going to test the speed of the hunting arrow. This is the X Impact Black Eagle, and this one weighs 582 grains, as we saw on the weight scale just before. And 582 divided with 48.8, which was the pound of the bow at 28 inches. We are talking about 11.9 grain per pound. So 11.9 grain per pound, which are fine. So now we're going to shoot that through the chronograph and see what happens. So that's 28 we're talking about. Let's turn on the chronograph, see what happens. Fire and hold. 167 feet per second. Not bad. Hope you can see it. Not bad for 11.9 grain per pound. Not bad. Not bad at all. So now we are going to shoot the axis arrow, and this one was, oh, I can't even remember. So now we're going to scale it again here. Yeah, 483, and the bow was 448.8. So we are talking about 9.9 grain per pound or something. Let's check this out. 483 divided with 48.8. Yeah, we're talking about 9.89 grain per pound. So that's actually 10 grains per pound. So now we are going to run this through the chronograph to see what happens at 10 grains per pound, roughly. Now we're going to shoot the axis, which was around 10 grains per pound. And afterwards we're going to put the Dacron string on the bow to see what happens, what difference there is between a Dacron and a fast flight. Okay, fire in the hole. 180. I hope you can see that one. Okay, 180 at 10 grains per pound at 28 inches. Of course, if we are only drawing 27 inches, we are maybe talking about 170 or something, right? So now we are gonna take a little break, and I'm gonna put the Dacron string on the bow, and then we are gonna take the same test again. Okay. So now we are ready with the Dacron string on the bow. The first arrow we are gonna shoot is the heavy one, 582 grains. And before, when we were shooting the fast flight string, we saw the speed of 167 feet per second. So now we are going to shoot the same arrow and with the Dacron string and see what the difference is. Right there. So let's see what happens. Fire in the hole. It can't be. It can't be. It cannot be. 117. It can't be. Yeah, 160. That's what I'm talking about. 160 feet per second. Couldn't really believe that. Because on the first shot it said 117 feet per second. I couldn't believe that. 160 I can believe, because it's 7 feet per second in the difference between the fast flight and the Dacron, and I will believe that. So let's take another one just to be sure. Okay. The farmers are busy out on the streets because we are harvesting now. So let's see if we can make the 160 again. Okay. Fire in the hole. Yeah. So 159. 159, okay. So on this particular bow we're talking about 6, 7, 8 feet per second or something in the difference between the Dacron and the fast flight. There is also some other stuff to consider, because I don't know the strands in this one, and I know that the fast flight is 14 strands, but I don't know how many strands there is in the, so it's not scientific, it's just for the fun. Okay. So now we are gonna shoot the 10 grain per pound arrow to see what happens. And before, when we were shooting this one, we had 180 feet per second with the fast flight. Like that, 28 inches. And before we were shooting 180 feet per second, like I said, with this arrow. So let's see what happens with a Dacron string. Fire in the hole. 170 feet per second with a Dacron string. So with my particular Dacron string, we are talking about almost 10 feet per second compared to the fast flight. Okay. So there's no doubt that the Dacron string is more silent and more quiet. So we need to consider if we need the 180 feet per second versus the 170 feet per second. Okay. But I don't know if any of you can use any of this. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.